Please call us being order.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll start off with our first requirement, Chief Ventura.
Am I standing now or?
Come on up.
I'm here with a request to get signatures on two purchase orders that were submitted previously. This was based on the warrant article that was voted on and passed by the voters in March. One purchase order was for a 2018 Ford Police Interceptor. It's a utility-style police vehicle for $28,916. The other purchase order is for the setup of that vehicle to include lighting, radio, and so forth, and that purchase order is for $7,692.
Any questions for the chief? Motion to move the purchase order for $28,916.
Do you want somebody to make it?
I'd like one, yeah.
Okay, so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And also a motion to move the setup for $7,692.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Hey, folks,
Thanks, John.
John.
I'm gonna stick around.
Okay.
Thank you. Who is next?
Deputy Director.
Lee?
I hope you don't mind.
No, grab the chair. Thank you. How are we all doing this evening?
Good, how are you?
It ain't snowing?
I'm happy it's not snowing.
Since Chief Ventura's still here, do you want to start with the GPS units? Because all three of us were involved in the most recent web meeting about those.
Later on.
Chief Ventura got with Kelly and myself. He set up a web meeting with Verizon. And the minute I heard Verizon, I went, "Oh, yeah, okay." That GPS I was looking at least for the highway department, the 7 vehicles we would need, they're actually about half the price and offer more of the services. Not only do the GPSs, these ones here, the concern I had is, according to their website, it's a OBD plug-in. Our trucks aren't OBD, they're the 9-pin round,
Right.
but they make the adapters for the cable harnesses for them. In talking with them, they offer geofencing. They give you real-time weather, and they utilize the National Weather Service, which is one of the services I utilize. They're offering a deal. The hardware is usually $85 per unit through the end of May. They're offering the hardware for nothing. The harnesses that we need are $35, I believe. And these things refresh every 2 minutes, or you can reset them to refresh every 1 minute for no additional cost. 45 seconds is $1 extra a month, 30 seconds is $2 extra a month, and 15 seconds is $3 extra a month. I did some quick figures while we were in this meeting, and not only Do you get that? You get the diagnostic codes. It can actually see codes that are coming up, like you have a clogged DEF. It's starting to clog up, it'll actually trip you before it trips the light on the truck. You can do all your service and maintenance on them. It can pop up alarms to the phone. Service alerts, it runs off either the odometer, the hours, or by calendar. You can add service items like greasing the truck or whatever for whatever you want to, whatever interval you want to do that for. It would take them about 24 hours once we got the equipment and installed it into the trucks, and it's plug and play. There's no hard wiring you need to get into. We asked them about voiding the warranties, and it will not.
Because it's an external adapter.
Exactly. Also, they have some other cables that we can hook to it, that we can actually put in hydraulic valves and run it to this unit. We can hook that up to the sanders. We can hook that up to the plow, so every time the plow picks up or goes down, you know, you can tell if the truck's plowing or not plowing. Those cables were $10 a piece. If you wanted to put one to the sander, it's 10, one to the front plow is 10, you know, for whatever you want to match it to. The two trucks we're getting come with the sanders that are GPS capable. My initial figures, and this is going with a 15-second refresh rate, figured out to be right around $2,115.
Per unit?
Upfront cost?
That's a year for all. And I went back looking at the estimate I got from that GPS police, that was 41 something the first year, and then went up to 54 for the next year. And I even brought up in the meeting, I asked the guy, I said, okay, you went through all these prices and stuff, now tell me where all the hidden fees are. And he said, there's none. He said, everything he told us is what we'll get, and they can set us up. It's a web-based portal, they can set us up separate accounts, where the chief would have the PD, the fire department would have the fire department, I'd have the highway department. In each portal, they'll put an administrator for each one.
So do we firewall off from each other so you can't see each other's?
Yes. Yeah, you can go in there and pick what people can see. I would have no need for fire or police. Fire and police would have no need for me.
Unless it's a, oh, sorry.
I-
Go ahead.
I actually think that there might be a need for the emergency management director to have access to everything during an emergency.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
So, right now, the emergency management director is Chief Ventura, so, but I'm sure we can set it up so that we can just give him there's a master administrator, so he could be the master of all of them, and then he sets up the administrators under there with, like, I could go in there and print reports, so if there was an accident and you wanted to know something, I could just go in and print a report, so I would never see anything in real time, which I would have no need to do, but, you know, or these guys can print reports for us and provide them to us, so.
So
You could set levels of administration.
I would think the updates should be the lowest updates. I mean, if we're, says it resets every what?
The
The
it comes
quickest,
out of the box 2 minutes,
2
but
minutes.
there's
you can go down to
15
15.
seconds for $3 a month.
And
per
like I
unit.
said, I figured in the 15 for us. I only foresee me using the 15-minute refresh rate, and he said you could tweak this every month.
Oh, okay. So
I would probably only use the 15-second updates in the wintertime. I mean, we get you on the road, I know where the trucks are. They're either in front of me or in front of whoever's in the equipment.
right, I'm just saying for if we get complaints,
Yeah,
to protect
yes.
the drivers,
Yes.
the least
And
amount.
like I said, the 15 would probably be, I mean, 1 minute would probably be good in the summertime, because we're just going ditching and stuff like that. 15, every 15 seconds I would want it in the wintertime for the complaints, and
I would say, yeah, I mean, I would say year round, just do the 15 seconds, that way it's not a,
well, that's why I did the figuring that way, just so, you know, I didn't tell you 2,100 and then Come to
Right.
find out, it's
Yeah.
$50
No, I get it.
more at the end of the year.
Yeah.
He also said that as the technology gets older, it gets cheaper and they just
Yeah.
charge us the new lower. If they reduce the rate, they just notify us and reduce the rate. We don't have to fight with them about, we bought it at this rate and now you're still charging us that, but new customers are coming on for half of that. They'll just reduce the rate.
And it was a 1-year contract, and then after that 1 year, it's month by month.
And that's for governments, for
Yeah.
municipalities.
That's-
State police has, what do you say, John, 280?
State Police runs this in all their cruisers apparently. I haven't found the person I need to speak with yet, the State Police who covers that.
And
I also have a
Goffstown
call into Goffstown PD, they run
is
them,
using it.
Yeah.
so.
And we asked about the
researching
Hampshire
that.
towns, and he came up with Lowell and Rowley.
Kingsborough.
Chief, you like this?
I love it. I think it's
Yeah.
a terrific system. However, I will tell you, I've also reached out to AT&T to get some competitive pricing, to see
Okay.
where they fall into it as well.
All right.
They have a fleet management as well. So I expect to get a demo from them. Within the next 30 days so that if we go with Verizon, we don't lose that window before May 31st.
And I'm just glad to hear that from him on AT&T, but I don't know if it goes off. It goes off GPS, but I don't know if it also goes off cell, and Verizon has better service than AT&T in this area.
Right. Okay.
I used to have AT&T, and I used to lose it on the outer part of 109 and up north.
And that will be a question of mine, is how
Yes.
will your service compare? Because we don't have AT&T service very well in this area.
So if you did the Verizon, you could do the VPN where you could hook into like the mobile data terminal.
That I do not know. I didn't ask that. I don't know.
I think Verizon you can, which would,
I know that in the past, I've been able to do that in other departments, so I wouldn't see why you wouldn't be able to.
yeah.
John, how was the everybody else up? The AT&T with the FirstNet, would they have expanded coverage?
That's why I reached out to AT&T, because that FirstNet is coming. Not here yet, obviously, but it's coming. So if that's the case, and the AT&T reception is terrific, because it's not based on whatever we do for cell phones around here, then maybe that would be the route to go. But they've got to have the exact same service as Verizon offers to convince me otherwise. All three of us were very impressed with the demonstration. I mean, it was an hour demonstration, very informative, and there's a lot more. I mean, Lee just touched on the highlights.
Yeah.
There's a lot more that you can do with this system that we never thought you could do. So I was impressed, very impressed.
I was too, extremely impressed. I mean, I could have probably filled this notepad with notes. I was writing as fast as I could.
Would they prepare a quote for us?
They're supposed to be emailing that. Did you get anything?
We're giving them a list of vehicles, make, model, and VINs. I've already reached out to the fire department. The fire chief is going to make sure those get to us. I've got all of our cruisers already. Lee was going to get his and any other town vehicles that we think might need them. We'll ship them to him and he'll give us a full quote.
Chief, I got that list together. If you could send me his email.
Are there any vehicles that you guys are looking at not putting in? Just they're gonna go in every vehicle in your
I based it
department?
on 8 cruisers for our fleet.
I'm going for all vehicles. I'm not gonna put them in equipment yet, but they do make it so you could put it in equipment.
Alright.
Our new excavator already has the JD link.
Okay.
We pull it up through John Deere. I can see where it's at, what it's running, if it's idling, half throttle.
Alright.
But yeah, I'm just looking at all the vehicles.
Do you want it in the building inspector, code enforcement officer vehicle? Or do you want to wait until, there's been some conversation about retiring that vehicle. Do you want to wait until we see what we do with that?
How long is the turnaround to add a vehicle? Do they give you?
Very short. He said it could be a week.
I would say we think that.
They just send out the box and it's really
Yeah.
plugged in.
Yeah, he said usually people have been getting them in a couple days, but he said figure about a week to get the equipment. And he said they could be up and running within 24 hours.
Can we demo them?
I'm sure we could. I mean, he demoed it on the screen. I'm sure we could get a demo.
Yeah,
I
think
just
that
don't know how that would work with the special offer of, that would expire May 31. I'll try to get one out here before then,
Right.
because that offer is expensive. I mean, $85 a unit, figure I've got 8 units, he's got 7.
Okay.
That's $1,000 right there, so that's a good savings, and I don't wanna lose that, but I'll reach out to him by email. Matter of fact, tonight I'll shoot him an email and see if he can get one out here.
Yeah, as long as they can find the money in their budgets, because obviously this wasn't budgeted for, it was, we didn't even foresee this. I think they're okay with that, and you did reach out to Chief Nason, right? And he thought he could,
Yes, I did speak with the chief, fire chief, and he said, sounds like good, good idea, but he wants to see some numbers, so, like we all do.
Okay. You guys will be working out for you. Good job.
Yeah.
Good job, Chief.
Yeah, thanks.
SAU letter?
so, the SAU wrote to in February regarding the timing of plowing, especially when school is closed. They seem to be especially concerned about that because their offices are still open. We had a conversation about this last fall, and I think Lee and I pointed out that there was a conflict, kind of a built-in conflict with when town hall opens, when the school opens. Obviously, the roads are the most important thing to get plowed when the buses are running. I guess Lee tries to not do those as early when school has been canceled, but they want it done early for their staff.
That includes the days that there will
Closed
be
for
no school,
vacation.
but they'd want it completely done.
Yep.
And
And
done.
it gets completely done, but she wrote in here, she wants
By
it done by
7:30.
7:30. If school's not in session, it gets done after I've done everything else. We usually go through and we keep the front road open so they could park there if they had to, because you're not talking 75 cars in the school. I think most of them, like today, I think there were 3 cars in the parking lot where it's school vacation. Yes.
Mr. Chairman?
Sure.
As I recall from when we had this discussion, it was quite a lengthy discussion, and we don't really have to plow that yard. And we decided, as selectmen, that we had been doing it, and we would like to still offer that to the school. However, I don't think they should be telling us exactly when that has to be plowed. I mean, it's common sense that you want to plow it before the kids come to school. I mean, that's common sense. But as far as I'm concerned, what we're doing now is fine.
Also, I was in a class with Chris Tyree, I think it was problem solving for Primex, and she had brought up that she believes that the school should be reimbursing us for plowing. I told her I wasn't getting into that, that's a
No.
discussion for later on. I talked to the town administrator as far as the winter maintenance plan. I know she had asked me to move the fire department up and shift parking lots down. I told her I'm not gonna worry about doing that right now because I'm gonna rewrite that whole thing.
I think it's, speaking just for myself, I think it's unreasonable that they would want it open at 7:30 a.m. on a non-school day, when you have to have all the other buildings, fire department, everything else cleaned.
I mean, when they have school, if it's a 2-hour delay, we're over there and we make sure they're cleared out so the kids can get into school and everything. But, I mean, on a school vacation or something, like I said, we keep the front road open. They could park right in front of the school until we get over there to do the parking lot. Was my feelings.
Yeah, I just don't see why, I guess, didn't want it done, like you said, vacations and days off. Unless there's something that I'm missing, but, no, I think the way it's going now is, so, I know you probably hashed this up before, but how long does it take you to,
It's about 3.5 hours, front, back, salt and sanding, because the whole backside's all dirt, so you gotta send a truck in with sand.
Okay.
And I usually have Seth over there with the loader with the 14-foot pusher. I brought it up last year when we had the discussion. I mean, I don't mind doing it, like I said, whatever the board decides, and that's what I went with last year, but technically your school district is a separate government entity and they're supposed to be budgeting for it.
I talked to a few towns surrounding us that was kind of surprised that we were still doing it, but
Yeah, there were a lot of towns that have gotten out. There's still a couple out there when I put the feelers out last year that they get reimbursed, but they're looking at getting out of it as well.
I would suggest they look at getting a private contractor over there. If they want the town to meet these requirements, it doesn't look, to me, that it's an unreasonable request for, on a non-school day, to be open at 7:30 a.m. when you have all the other buildings to do
Yes.
in the middle of a snowstorm or at the end of one,
I mean,
if they have no school.
they contract people out to do the sidewalks and I don't think they have a snow blower, they have somebody come do that,
Yeah.
which is kind of surprising.
They have outside maintenance.
How to comes over with their tractor and stuff to do the sidewalks.
Do you wanna write them a letter asking them to look at private contractors for the next budget season and see if after they look at that, they change their ask?
I would probably think so, if they got some real hard numbers to look at, I think they would,
All of a sudden, we look a lot more reasonable and
Right.
time
yeah, I mean, because
sensitive.
a 7:30 a.m. start, when we have all the other buildings to do, is not a reasonable request to entertain.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, we have competing needs.
Yep.
Kind of with the parking lots that we have and what they have. Again, not, obviously when school is open, the roads have to be open to buses and the parking lot has to be open to
Right.
drop off, but when they're closed, that's problematic.
It saves time for us because we could have be neglecting one of our needs. Somebody gets hurt, somebody can't get out, it negates the whole process.
I think you may be able to accommodate them sometimes too. I think we just can't guarantee a 7:30 every day, no matter what. And I think that's what they're kind of looking for, is a guaranteed 7:30, and that's a challenge. Do you want me to prep a letter for your signatures, or do you want me to send a letter? How do you want to do it?
I mean, usually like during the days they have school, the principal calls me about 5 o'clock and, you know, he's real understanding. He's like, well, the roads look like, well, the roads are okay. How about the school parking lot? I haven't even had time. You might want to do a 2-hour delay. And, you know, we work pretty good together. He usually calls me at like 5 in the morning.
Well, that's a different
Right.
relationship than what's being
Exactly.
asked in this letter.
Exactly. And I did not get a chance to respond to it when the town administrator heard about it. She asked me to send it to her, so then I just didn't respond after that. But I felt if there's no school, the front road's open, you can park there until the parking lot's open. You know, I felt it was unreasonable when there's no school. I got higher priorities.
Okay.
Letter for your signatures, or you want me to send it?
Better for our signatures. Because I don't know if it can be done in this upcoming cycle, because we just passed the 19 budget.
We may, if they end up looking into a contract for budgeting, it won't go into effect till about April, so we'll be stuck this year.
Yeah.
What would they need for equipment to, say they wanted to buy a truck over there themselves with a plow on it and do their own parking lot? What would they need for equipment for that, do you think? Any opinion?
Depending on the snowstorm, a pickup truck can struggle over there.
Okay.
I'd say with the pickup, I've done that, just that front parking lot before, and you're looking at about 4.5 hours. That's a lot of area.
It's a long time.
Okay.
And you're fighting the windrows. I mean, you know that. Oh, no, you don't. You got one of them cool V plows. But I mean, yeah, if you wanted to look at something like that, you're probably looking at a minimum one pickup a good size plow, I'd probably go 9 foot, possibly an easy B, and you'd want a sander in the back.
I just,
Mhm.
then you need the help.
Then you need the help. And you gotta be careful out back, like I said, that's gravel, so like this spring, couple last storms we got,
The soft.
oh, I guess. Now, I've got one other thing, you want to save that for new business?
You're here.
Okay. Just a reminder, May 1st, the highway department's going on 410s. And this year I'm gonna do it a little different. I've already talked to the guys over there. 3 of us are gonna work Monday through Thursday, and the other 3 are gonna work Tuesday through Friday. That way we're still getting work done 5 days a week. I found last year, Friday was a good day for me to get bills done, but there were some things I could have been doing on Friday if I wasn't there alone. So that gives us a couple extra guys if we have to go out and do something. We've got a flagger or 2.
Okay. And last year that worked out well for you, was going to the 410s?
And the guys really appreciated it.
Okay, because I know the state goes to 410s in the summertime as well, too.
And we run it,
Next day for-
last year we ran it May 1st through October 1st.
Mr. Chairman,
Sure.
explain to me, last year you came before us to go to the 410s and we asked that you be there on Friday.
Yep.
And that worked out?
Mm-hmm.
So now you're going to do it differently on the 410s? You're gonna have 3, one section and 3 or 4 the other section?
Yes. So
Why would you do that?
Tuesday through Thursday, we would all be in like a normal week, Tuesday through Thursday. There'd be 3 guys on Monday and 3 guys on Friday. The reason I wanted to do that is because on Fridays it was just me. And if I didn't have any bills or paperwork to do, I couldn't do anything because I don't have enough guys to go out on the road with anything. I have no flaggers, I have no safety. So I was gonna split it up to 3 guys on Monday, all 6 of us Tuesday through Thursday, and then 3 guys on Friday. And one of the guys on Friday would be Seth, who's the foreman and next in line.
I guess I don't understand why you would, well, I do understand you said you're there alone on Friday, I understand that. However, we had a lengthy discussion about this last year when we changed it, and we went along with you because you'd said that this would work out, and, but I'm not sure, do the guys really wanna do that rather than have their 4 days and their 10 hours and then have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off?
Yeah. The 2 guys I checked with said they were fine getting Monday off, so they get Saturday, Sunday, Monday for 2 of them plus myself.
And that's only 2 guys you checked with
The 2 guys that would be
on Monday.
taking Monday off, working Fridays. That was Joe Gore and Chuck Cotton.
So the argument was that the setup and tear down is about an hour. So if you're doing 5 8-hour days with an hour in the morning, an hour at night, you're only getting 6 5-hour days. So you're getting 30 hours work time, theoretically. If you go to 4 10-hour days with 5 guys, then you're
at least
getting
8 hours.
4 8-hour days, you're getting 32 hours. If you do it this way
You're getting-
and split it up though, aren't you,
You're getting 50 hours out of a week instead of a 40-hour week.
but with only with a 3-man crew, not a 5-man crew, a 6-man crew?
Usually when we go out on the road, we go out with 4-man crew. You have 2 flaggers, a truck driver, and an equipment operator.
And you're sure the guys are up for this?
According to several conversations I've had with them, Joe and Chuck said they don't care which day they get off, but the 3-day weekend is nice. And Mike Laffey he works at a campground part-time in the summer, so he was already pretty much locked into Fridays. Seth didn't care either way, but I wanted to put him opposite me. And Gary already had some plans for his Fridays.
So if you're out on Friday though, then that two-man crew does that. If any of you are off on Monday or Friday, then you're back to that same thing where it's only a two-man crew.
Right.
So then is there a safety issue and they can't go out at all? 'Cause
No,
we
they
need-
could still go out. Tree trimming, stuff like that, they just wouldn't be able to go out digging. See, like when I was in there on Fridays, I couldn't go out tree trimming because it was just me. You usually like to have two guys out tree trimming, so you have two sets of eyes out there. Because, I mean, that DPW guy over in Wolfboro got creamed last year. And instead of a 40-hour week, you're actually getting 50 hours, well, minus lunch and setup. You're getting 50 hours of work time out of the week.
You think like a Friday, being there by yourself, that's a lot, a lot of administrative stuff that could be done and not getting bothered too, like.
And that's what I did last year.
Right.
And I ran out of stuff to do on Fridays. And I'd get a phone call, hey, tree down over here on such and such a road. I'm there by myself, I can do the small stuff, but everything else I have to wait. This way you have a minimum of 3 people that can go out and deal with emergencies. And that was one of the discussions we had last year, is Charlie wanted someone there in case there was an emergency. Like I
So-
said, 410s is only 40 hours a week, and if you do it this way and split it up, you're actually getting 50 hours a week, because you're working 5 days, 10-hour days.
So, but if it doesn't work, you can go back to
Oh,
the
yeah.
full shift at Monday through Thursday, and then you'd still be there on Friday.
So this would be a pilot program?
Yep.
And if it doesn't work, you would maybe come back, maybe tell us, you make an adjustment, and then that would be the end of it. Okay. I don't have a problem with it, if we need a vote.
I think it's the same thing, basically the same thing they did last year. It's just shifting that one shift to Monday and Friday,
Yeah.
if you're okay with that.
And if you guys hear anything or have any issues, feel free to call me, and I'll adjust it accordingly.
So 185 Bonnyman, do
Yes.
you want to give
yes.
them a little thumbnail sketch about the history of that and where we are with it today?
185 Bonnyman, I don't know if you guys have been up on Bonnyman Road
I
recently.
am.
You go up, you go around the first corner at the boat launch, you go all the way up to that next corner, it's Mr. Leitzner and Larry Moody's right next door. He has a catch basin in his driveway, supposedly the town put in when his father-in-law owned the property. The culvert goes across the street and drains right on the bank of the lake. It was my understanding, and I believe it was in the road file as well, that the town put that in with the understanding that his father-in-law would maintain it.
Right.
It's now him and his wife that have taken over the property. Catch basin has not been maintained. The water comes down that hill, takes the sand and everything from the side of the road, and that catch basin is breaking apart. The grate's falling in. He also has a culvert across his driveway from the catch basin for a low area there to try to get that water. Well, he was complaining starting last year or the year before that thing was flooding out. He's getting a real muddy silt. Somebody slipped and fell in his driveway, and we've been going back and forth while we were up there last year. I asked Linda Shires from AWA, Sally Sewell from DES. There was another gentleman from New Hampshire Shoreline, Victor was up there. And they went through, we came up with a couple ideas to prevent that from happening. They went through UNH with their grant funding last year and had UNH engineers do up a plan. Basically, as you're looking up the hill, it would be a swale on the left side coming down the hill, and with a drainage easement, which apparently Mr. Moody is okay with having. It will go into a detention pond. It'll be lined with riprap, then you put fabric on it, you put gravel on it, loom on top of that, and then you seed over it, and there'll be a catch basin in the bottom, culvert going across the street like the other one is. Mr. Lightsner, we would, UNH says we could pull that catch basin up. We have to concrete seal the pipe on that end so nothing can go through it. Instead of trying to dig it up and having to get extra permits for that, because you're within 250 feet of lake, you need all the DES permits. And on the right side, doing a swale coming down there, because right now the hill is right against the road. So the water can't get off. Doing a swale down that side and putting a smaller detention pond just to filter the water before it goes down over the bank to Weeks's Beach. Linda had said they didn't have any grant funds for that. She hit me up with a price or a materials list. Me and Seth went through, we did the calculations, we sent it back to her, I believe it was like $4,600.
$42,7093.
Okay. And she got back with Kelly and myself that they do have enough grant funds, they could cover the material list. It'd kind of be like the Silver Hill deal we had last year. They pay for the materials and everything, we provide the work. And this would have to be completed by December, the end of December.
So who maintained it?
That's what's gonna be in the drainage easement. Kelly hit me up with an email today about going through Rick, have him do up the easement and also include the maintenance. They would be required to mow it. And that's why, they used to just do riprap, but then you had to go up there every year or so, pull the riprap up, put new fabric, new riprap. Now they're doing the riprap, the fabric, the gravel, loam, and grass, because all you gotta do is mow. The grass actually catches all the sand and stuff. So it would be in the drainage easement that they would maintain it. That would alleviate the water issue Mr. Lightsner is dealing with. And it'd be 2 more people happy on buying it. Happier.
So it would be our labor, and then you would have to decide if you wanted Mr. Leitzner and Mr. Moody to pay for the legal fee to have the agreement. I think it's important that it be a legal agreement and we file it at the registry of deeds so that this doesn't happen in the future. It's one thing to do it, because the drainage is part of our road, but we've done it once and they were supposed to take care of it and did not. So I don't think should just keep, whether it's our money or ours money, to keep doing these repairs that nobody maintains, because at the end of the day, the drainage is coming from our road, but it's on their private property, so I think they need to have some skin in the game to maintain it.
Yeah, because we haven't, I believe you have up to 6 months if we change the grade on that road, which we haven't, in order to file a grievance with the town to, if there's any damage to their property. But the last time that was paved was years and years ago, so, even though the water's coming off our road, we haven't done nothing to that road, so there'd be no legal avenue they could take to come after us, but like I said, it'd just make a couple more people on Bonnyman happy.
How long of a project would that be for you?
I think it'd probably take us a week, both sides.
Week on each side or a week total?
Week total, I believe. And it's gonna be the same understanding we had with Linda about those walls up there last year, probably ain't getting done till like October, because we gotta get ready for paving and
Well,
we
we'd
gotta,
have to have legal agreements drawn up too,
Yep.
just for the
On it
maintenance
too?
and that.
yeah. Well, the last one I did with us, it said it just had to be done by December 31st. And I had told her, me and you sat in on that, but the one last year, and I told her, it ain't gonna happen until October, and I think it was beginning of October we did it.
Do do you want the town to pay the legal expense, or do you want me to approach Mr. Leitzner and Mr. Moody and see if they'd be willing to split the?
Without making the meeting even longer, was the original people that were supposed to take care of that not bound to that agreement, or the new owners weren't bound to that agreement, or?
I don't know if that's filed with the registry of deeds, it should have been.
Mr. Leitzner was aware of it though, right? Because it's the original owner's daughter and her husband. I don't think Mr. Leitzner is on the deed, but the
No,
daughter.
he's not on the
The
deed.
daughter owns the property, so.
And I
I
don't
think they're
know
aware of
who
it, aren't
his
they?
father-in-law was, but he was maintaining it when the older crew was in the highway department, but he got older and he got to the point where he couldn't, and they haven't done nothing with it. I've been here almost 6 years, we've been up there every year shoveling sand and everything out of his driveway. And like I said, the cover's caving in, it's a dry stacked barrel block catch basin. The culvert that runs across the road on the lake side, there's a family of groundhogs living in there. We looked at it last year and one of them poked his head up and looked up. So I don't think there's water going really
Stuff like that.
But UNH suggested we just seal off that culvert on Mr. Leitzner's side of it and just abandon it instead of digging up the road and disturbing the bank even more, because we're gonna have to disturb it, put the pipe across from the catch basin and the detention pond.
Well, maybe Mr. Leitner
Leitzner, there's a
Leitzner
Z in there.
could pay for the legal fees to have the MOU drawn up.
Okay, I'll approach him about that.
Especially if we're paying the labor and ours paying for,
Materials.
taxpayers are paying for.
And what about
So-
the other fellow?
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Moody has to have a drainage easement on his property, so there'll be an easement for Moody and a maintenance agreement for Mr. Leitzner.
Maybe we get package costs from Mr. Sager for that, that way we have one price to give the both of them. See what happens.
Okay.
That's all I got. There's nothing else for me.
No, I think that's it.
Thank you, Lee.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good one. Mr. McGeegan. Yes. Did I get it right? McGeegan. Excuse me.
My name is Robert McGuigan, and I'm here tonight with my wife Teresa. We're here to we're here as representatives of Rolling Thunder, and I want to thank you for taking the time to meet with us. Let us make this presentation. We were asked to come here by some townspeople to make this presentation. This presentation is regarding the POW-MIA Chair of Honor. This is a little history. Rolling Thunder was incorporated in 1995 as a Class 501c4 nonprofit organization. We have over 90 chartered chapters throughout the United States and abroad. And the primary mission of Rolling Thunder is to educate the public about the many American prisoners of war that were left behind following all wars. I'll just bring this up now. We are not a motorcycle club, though a lot of our members do ride motorcycles. We are not affiliated with any motorcycle club. We are a veterans advocacy group. We have a voting rights on the state's Veterans Council. We're the only organization that has that right. So to further our mission of educating the public, an idea was born and acted upon in municipalities with corporate assistance and sponsorship to dedicate a chair to the POW-MIAs in public venues. These chairs usually placed in prominent places of honor in stadiums and sports venues, which are easily visible to the maximum number of people in attendance, and they're painted black with POW-MIA insignia upon it, and a plaque or letter accompanying the chair to explain the purpose of the chair that represents the over 90,000 missing Americans. These chairs, and chairs like it, have become known as POW-MIA Chairs of Honor. Initially, the installation of these memorials, as I said, was carried out at public venues, such as it started at a racetrack down south, I don't know exactly which one, and it's kind of spread throughout the country. Locally, we have chairs in all major sports complexes in Boston. We have Gillette Stadium, Fenway Park, the hockey rink, I can't remember the name right now. And also, it's moved up to New Hampshire. We've installed chairs of honors in places such as Gill Stadium in Manchester, Holman Stadium in Nashville, New Hampshire Motor Speedway, Lee Raceway, Delta Dental Stadium in Manchester, to name a few. Then the idea of the POWMIA chair kind of morphed to include indoor installations on town property, such as town halls or town clerks' offices, etc., where they were highly visible to people as they came and went within the town's property. The memorial is usually a black chair, flanked by an American flag and POW flag, and a plaque or letter explaining what the chair is, and a chain or rope in front of the chair, just to keep people from sitting on it. This is an example of the chairs. There are chairs, and this is just an example plaque. I just printed it out and threw it in a frame. So typically, you can hang the plaque on the wall or put it on the chair, whatever your liking is, and it will be flanked by American flag and POW flag, either stanchions or a rope or chain or whatever in front, just to keep anyone from sitting on it. That's a typical installation. You have some pictures I can pass around of what one looks like. So these chairs of honors have been installed now in indoor places, such as the state's capitol. We have one installed there. We have other town halls, such as Goffstown, Derry, Salem, Londonderry, Epping, Salisbury, and Belmont, as well as memorials, other memorials set up on other town properties, as in Hooksett and Auburn. I've enclosed a few pictures for you to review and see what other places have done with the memorial. Rolling Thunder considers a chair like this to be a strong symbol of the value, dedication, and patriotism for the veterans that have served and are still missing. And we've really been told, and I know firsthand, that these chairs and these memorials that are set up help the family and friends and of the loved ones of the missing to make sure that they are not forgotten. There are various videos online. There's a couple YouTube videos showing the dedication in Gillette Stadium, if you wanted to go online and take a look at that. The purpose of this presentation is to seek support and approval of the town in their efforts to place a POWMIA chair of honor in at least one public venue, such as the town office or other public area. We would like to suggest that the unveiling or dedication of this chair could be part of a special media event. Support for the memorial will be widely and positively regarded as a reflection of the town's dedication to all who have served in the military, who are currently serving, and will serve in the future. We recognize that financial considerations are important to the town. We believe that the cost of this project will be pretty minimal. We are ready to offer some helpful ideas if needed, and we are willing to offer some manpower if necessary to recharge all of installing the memorial. That's about all I have. I look forward to any questions you might have and working with you in the future.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
I'm all in favor of this. I think you're doing a great job
Absolutely.
going throughout the state and doing all of these. And it's a beautiful chair. It's a symbol.
The chair could be anything. These are
Yes.
some chairs that were made anonymously by some members.
That's good.
What we'd like to do to get the program kicked off in the town is we'd like to donate the chair to the town and ask if the town continues with the project, to come up with a plaque explaining what the chair is, similar maybe to what this is here. You probably already have an American flag, a POW flag that could be used to flank it, some stanchions or whatever, a rope if it's put in the corner, just to keep people from sitting on it. So the cost will be very minimal at this point in time. The plaques can run anywhere from $150 and up, let's put it that way.
And the town pays for that,
Pardon?
and the town pays for the plaque and the
Yeah,
flags.
yeah, I mean, and if, it's not in the budget, maybe something could be set up, a little fundraising drive or something, in the town clerk's office, put out a jar or something, see if some money could be raised that way to help offset the cost of whatever cost you have.
We also have Pride Day in May, and it would be a good thing to dedicate it then and bring it out and
And
show
what-
everybody.
Yep, what day in May would that be?
May 19th.
19th, okay. Just that we don't want to do it Memorial Day.
Right.
Memorial Day is our
Yes.
our big demonstration ride down to Washington DC.
Right.
Last year was the 25th anniversary, I can't remember the number. There's like over 1 million riders down there last year. So it's something that we're dedicated to doing.
Yeah.
And so Memorial Day is not something that we're be around and enforce to help show up for this dedication.
Yeah, that's why we always have Pride Day before the Memorial Weekend.
No, I think it's great. After when I heard about it, I thought it was a really good thing to have for local veterans, and so
Yep.
just gotta find a good place to put it.
We'll ask, like I said, chairs are whatever you'd like. We'd like to donate this, but if this chair is not used, I asked if you could get it back.
Of course.
So use it in another town.
Of
We're more
course,
than
no, I
welcome
think it's
to
wonderful,
have
I
this
think
chair.
it's a nice chair.
So these were chairs that were refurbished and made from old chairs.
Great.
Nice,
Look
that's
like
nice.
this. I am gonna take my quasi plaque back.
Okay.
Just a couple questions. This is John Diana. You work for John Diana, or?
Well, John Diana is currently the president of Rolling Thunder.
Yep.
I don't work for him on.
He was the president, so.
Yeah, he's the president. Yeah, he's president of Rolling Thunder. We go through, president's positions every 2 years, so right now he's the president.
All right, great.
Thank
guys
you
do a
very
great job.
much.
Thank you for your service.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Pretty sure we can find somebody that will sponsor
Yeah,
this in a heartbeat.
sure.
I know one local company that will.
I know two.
Thank you. I could come up with one even.
Oh,
Yeah.
Thank you.
thank you very much.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Do we need a motion to accept this, or are we just gonna accept it as a gift, or?
I would
How do
say,
you want to handle that?
I'll make the motion to accept it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Pleasure.
Great.
Thank you.
I'll forward you, and I have your email too, I'll forward you some information if we come up with a date.
Yep,
Feel
definitely,
that.
let's, you guys stay in touch, and
Yes.
we definitely want to come out for a dedication of this, would be great.
Absolutely.
Definitely on Pride Day, because that's also Armed Forces Day. Would be a fitting tribute for that.
Maybe a good parade, they have a parade in town too that you guys could probably get in.
Fine? Yeah.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
You're gonna stay in touch with them.
Yes, I will. I do.
Tom Doobie, come on up.
I'd like to thank everyone for getting me on the agenda and giving me a chance to speak about our code enforcement department.
Before you begin, can I just make a statement that I'm sure a lot of people aren't aware of? But to be on the agenda, you have to be here by a certain time on Friday. What time is it now? Noon on Friday. And a lot of people aren't aware of that, and I don't believe you're aware of it. But I just want to make people aware,
I was,
okay?
yeah, great, and I did get here close to that time, but I didn't know. I
Yeah,
came by
I know you
Thursday a
didn't.
couple of times, but Kelly was really busy and
Yeah.
I was busy and we didn't get
Yeah.
hooked up. I apologize.
But I want people, I wasn't asking for your apology, really. I just want people to know that that's what it is. That's the rule for the agenda.
Thank you. So myself being here as the chairman of the planning board and George Frothingham's here as the vice chair of the zoning board of adjustment. We just, we just want to talk about a little bit about the code enforcement department and the land use department. And the biggest thing, that we know there's a lot of changes. We haven't had a land use clerk for over 5 months downstairs. And I know it's totally out of everybody's control. But 2 weeks ago we found out that our land use clerk wasn't coming back. And so now, just last week, we found out late last week that our building inspector is not here either. And the people downstairs are a little bit overwhelmed about helping the planning board and zoning board. I think, they got it covered and they're doing the best they can with what they have. So we just have, some concerns and we want to make sure that we can help the situation going forward. We want to, like we have been in the past, we want to be either on a committee or if a committee is going to be set up, you know, to hire new people or whatnot. Because right now, you know, we don't have, or there's not enough help down there to be able to just have some simple zoning questions answered, and then get really overwhelmed when we have a situation come in where we need to send out notices, you know, for even something as simple as a boundary line adjustment. We could have to spend out 10, 15, 20, you know, notices out to the public and in the paper, you know, and I think, you know, we're doing a fine job making sure we're maintaining and getting things out. But we want to just make sure that, you know, or we'd like to have a quick discussion just on the following 4 points, if we could, because we're being asked every day, you know, from people coming into the zoning and planning department and asking us about the building inspector and everything that's going on. So us as boards would like to just see if you guys we can have a quick discussion on these 4 points. The interim staffing, you know, what it is, number one. Number two, when do you think we can advertise the positions? And how many positions would it be, same as before? Or would it be part-time or full-time, what you guys are thinking? And who will be part of the hiring, you know, committee, or who would set up that committee, or when can we get going on the hiring? Because we've been a while without people and we'd like to really get it, you know, we want to be part of the solution to get it back to where it needs to be. So I don't know if you want to take them one at a time, or if we can, I don't think there's anything there that we can't talk about, there's no employees or
three.
anything. So can you tell us a little bit about the interim staffing? We've heard a lot out there, we don't officially know what's happening.
The Board of Selectmen adopted 3 new job descriptions at their last meeting. There's 3 positions down there now. I think there were 3 positions before.
Can we just stick with the interim staffing one first? What we have for,
Actually,
That's
let
what
her
we-
finish talking before, that way she can answer your question for you.
That is the answer to the question. The interim staffing right now is Bridget and Victor, and their job descriptions have changed.
There you go.
can we get a copy of those job descriptions, or?
Yeah.
I know, you know, we've seen the job descriptions from before, and I know you guys changed them, but it would have been nice, we think, as our boards, that we could have had some input in that. But, so we've changed, but the interim staffing, that's all, we don't have anybody else, it's just Victor and,
And we're also contracting with MRI to provide building inspector services. So Victor works 32 hours a week. Actually, yeah, 32, right? Yeah, 32. He and Bridget both work 32 hours a week. His title is Shoreland Co-Code Enforcement and Health Officer. Victor's 32 hours, and then Bridget's 32 hours. So it used to be Bridget was 20 hours, Victor was 20 hours. They increased Victor's hours when the other person was on administrative leave. And then right now, the building inspector position is being staffed with a third-party contractor through MRI, through Municipal Resources. That's the interim plan. The ad will hit the newspaper tomorrow. I believe it's on the website right now, right? It is. It's been on our website since the last meeting when the Board of Selectmen approved it.
And we have an active ad going in
Tomorrow.
Carroll County
Tomorrow.
Independent and Granite State, or just Carroll County?
These package.
It's a lot of package.
It's in both.
Thank you.
so, if I can go back, I got the intern staff, and number 2 on my list. So when we can expect to advertise the position, so we've advertised the position, it sounds like. And we've advertised it not as the way it was before, we're advertising for what kind of position?
building inspector, code, and co-health.
A full-time position?
No, 32 hours. So we had Victor, who worked 20 hours, we had Nate, who worked 32 hours, and we had David, who was averaging about 14 or 15 hours. So altogether, that was 32, 52, 65, 67 hours. And now we're gonna have two 32-hour-a-week people. So it'll be 64 hours, roughly.
So that answers number 3, is how many positions and what they are, and if we could just, at least see the new job descriptions, if changed, it sounds like. And then number 4, who will be part of the hiring and if we can be part of that committee. I know on the planning board side, we had a vote to elect myself and another guy if there's room on that committee. If there is going to be a committee, Dick DeRoche would love to be on the committee too, with myself if he could be. And I know I've talked to the chairman of the zoning board, and he had recommended that George possibly be on the committee from his board because he's in and out of town.
All the years that I was on the planning board, 4 years, I don't ever remember any committee formed for hiring any of those positions.
That's true. While you were there, it was before. Well, Steve Royal and George happened to be on the committee when we hired Nate. So there's definitely always been a committee. And previous to that, I was told there was a committee too when we hired the last one after we fired our building inspector quite a few years ago. So there's always been a committee from the land use board, or we were always part of the committee to hire.
What happened those 4 years?
We didn't have, Nate's been there.
Right, but we changed the building inspector.
It's possible the building inspector wasn't a committee formed for the building inspector. We're talking, we're the land use boards, and we want to be involved because he's going to be doing, it sounds like that position is going to be, half his job is going to be land use. And, whether you guys think or not, some people think that we were spoiled with having a land use / quasi helping us out with, planning questions downstairs. And it was, very helpful. But did a lot of other work for us too. It's in getting the notices out, telling people, helping all our townspeople with questions about where to go for this, for zoning, where to go for that, go to the subdivision regulations or the site plan regulations, or it's right here in zoning, here it is, this is what you can do, what you can't do. Very, very helpful to all our townspeople. And I know, we should have at least some say in that side of it. And we always have.
Judge had his hand up, and seems as he's been mentioned, I think he should be allowed to say whatever
Well,
he...
you were wondering about what's been done in the past. And
Right.
It's been a long time since I was a full-time chair, but I wasn't full-time chair for many years. And in those old days, we did have a person who was assigned to be clerk of the zoning board. And whenever that was changed, I was always consulted, in fact, was always on a committee to choose the next person. I was also asked to serve on committees when other land use people were hired. So in those days, we always did have input into these processes.
Okay, thank you. So did we go over all of his
Yes.
questions?
Yeah, just the committee, if there's gonna be a committee or hiring committee, we'd like to be able to sit in on those and have input.
We'll let you know if we decide to have a committee on those.
Yep.
I know I was here, a few weeks ago, and we talked about it, and a lot's happened since those 3 weeks. A tremendous amount's been happening. There's been new job descriptions. There's been no building inspector anymore. And it sounds like job descriptions have changed, and we've had no input. So we really hope you consider it, that we really would like to be part of it as quickly as possible, because it's in our best interest, everybody in the town's best interest, to hire somebody as soon as possible.
We don't disagree.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Public comment for agenda items?
I just have a quick question. You did say we do have a contract with somebody acting as a building inspector, correct? Okay.
Could I ask how often that person is available?
8 to 10 hours a week.
8 to 10 hours a week.
He's been coming every day for a couple
Every
hours.
day,
Anybody else? Parks and Rec needs assessment RFP, unfinished business.
So the Parks and Rec put out a needs assessment, and they only got 2 submissions. One had no dollar amount in it, and one was more money than they had to spend. So the committee voted, I believe, at a meeting. Yeah, the advisory committee met the morning of April 17th, and they reviewed the RFPs, and they are asking the Board of Selectmen to reject them all so that they can rebid it on May 4th with a due date of 2 p.m. on May 25th.
Motion to not accept the 2 RFPs as presented.
Second.
Discussion?
Well,
Do you have
oh,
questions?
did you want me to make that motion? I never know if you want me to make the motion or if you're making it.
You made it, he seconded it.
Okay, that's what I thought. So no discussion from me.
All in favor?
Aye.
The L-chip window RFP?
So I put out the, so as you know, we got a L-chip grant to finish off the other half of the town hall windows. I put that out in February for submission on April 6th, and I received none. So this had to be cleared through the L-chip grant people. They recommended that I use any historic window people on the New Hampshire Preservation Alliance website. I sent it by email to 12 or 13 people on the Preservation Alliance website. A few got bounced out. I personally called them, got good email addresses, resent it. One heard about it from another one. I sent it to him. Nobody bid. So I reached out to L-chip to say, because I know they're very particular about these grants, and I said, we also have a purchasing, this is over $5,000, so, we did the bid. We're supposed to get the work done by December 31st of this year, so any recommendations for me? And he suggested reaching out to all the bidders and find out why they didn't bid, which I think is a little bizarre, because I feel like if I'm begging them to bid, then are they gonna want more, it's a very detailed bid, and it's a very detailed, there's color-coded projects of the windows that are left, what kind of windows they are, what kind of materials, this is, because it's a historic building, it's very specific.
The L-chip is very specific as well.
Right, so then the other thing he suggested is the company that did our first half of our windows did not bid. And he suggested perhaps calling them, and they are not on the Preservation Alliance group. So I said, is that okay? Can I reach out to them? And he said, you can, but here's my issue with this and why I wanted to bring it to you before I took any next steps. I can't reach out to them and say, hey, would you do this project for $46,000? Here's what it is, and have them say yes, and then you want it rebid, and now I've got a company that said, oh, we'll do it for 46, and now somebody else is gonna say, well, if he'll do it for 46, I'll do it for 4. Like, so do you want me to formally rebid it to everybody, or do you want me to just do what L-Chip said and reach out? It's very time consuming to do these kind of bids and RFPs. I don't feel like you can respond to this RFP in 3 days. You know, it's, if you want a bid, and that's why I put it out in February with an April 6th date. Or I could do what he suggested and call every single one of these and find out why they didn't bid, but he also did say that if it would help make the project more attractive, they could extend the project to December 31st of 2019. But I feel like if we put it out in February with a closing in April, you know, it's kind of a summer job. You can't remove the windows from town hall
No.
in the middle of winter. I mean, you could, but
That might be the slow
I would
season.
prefer not to do
Exactly.
that.
That might be when it's slow though. Maybe more people would.
Yeah, but what are we gonna do about that? Because you can't have people working in this building with boarded up windows in the winter. So, I mean, it's a window. I'm coming to you for direction because I can't break the purchasing policy without your permission. I will do whatever you want me to do. I will rebid it to all of these people but it seems like if the original people that did it don't want to bid, and these 12 or 13 people didn't want to bid, making it December 31st of 19 may not make it any more attractive.
Okay. So, the last people that did these windows aren't on their preferred vendor list.
Right. But he said, because nobody bid, I can go to them.
Do you have that in writing before we go ahead and do that?
I have it in an email from him.
Okay, okay.
And he's the one overseeing our project, at least until he leaves, because they've had 2 or 3 changes at L-Chip since I've been here for this project, so it's kind of...
I would follow his advice the first time, and then,
So reach out to everybody I sent it to and find out why they didn't bid, and then reach out to Alpine Environmental and see if they are interested.
Alpine first, maybe, and then the other 12, or do you suggest call the other 12 first?
I don't
What
think,
was his
he didn't
recommendation?
give me an order.
Yeah.
What was his recommendation then?
Both are in the same email. You could reach out to the people and find out why they didn't bid, and you could look at the guy that originally did the project, even though he's not on the preservation line. I never touched base with my predecessor to see if she had the same issue, and she had to call around finding somebody that would do it, which I feel better about it being somebody who's done it before in this building historically than buying a pig in a poke. I don't feel like it's a place where you just go to Anderson Window and say, hey, slap in some, you know.
Right.
It's much more labor intensive and detailed work than just slapping in some vinyl replacement windows. These are,
Take a look at that window. Wasn't that part of it? Yeah, that was quite a job.
I would go with the people that did this last thing.
First.
Run it by them again.
okay, and see if they're interested. If they're interested, you would take, and they would do it for 46,000, you take that. If they say they're not even interested in looking at it, then call the 12 or 13 and see why they didn't bid. If it's a timing issue, then, and they're willing to do it next summer, then I'll get George to extend the grant and rebid it, or let them fight over it. I'm happy to have whomever, and
We want to get this behind us.
well, yeah, and I was told that it might not be enough money, so I did 3 like I broke it up into 3 parts so that the bulk of it is one bid, and then there's 2 add-ons in case it comes into more money than we have. We could still do the bulk of the project. I think I broke it up into,
Good idea.
I broke it up into, I think there's 35 windows in the, or no, there's more than that, 39. So the first was 27 windows, the second ad alternate is 10 windows, and the end is 2 additional 2 windows. So, and I just kind of did it by the elevation, like the back 2, nobody will even really notice them, and we could do them another year and probably afford to pay for them ourselves. But the bulk of them could be done, the first 27 could be done in original bid, so, but there were still no takers. So maybe it's just more money than anybody's willing to do, but I will reach out to Alpine first and see if I can get somebody.
Good enough. Great,
Thank you.
thank you. Clearview MOU.
Okay, so you know that the Clearview contract expired, I believe, in February. And so I had been working with the president of Clearview, Jim Miller. They had a couple of very minor changes. You guys had approved it, I'd sent it to him. One of the changes was we had it in there as a liaison, a non-voting member. He wanted that changed to liaison. Our attorney pushed back and said you can say liaison, but you have to be clear that it's a non-voting member. Something about their articles of agreement, if they have more members on their board, they'd have to change their incorporation papers to show more. So that was really the only change. And it's ready for your signatures. If you guys, we did two duplicate originals. If you guys sign them, then I'll have Clearview sign it. We'll keep an original and they'll get one to keep as well.
And that's for 3 years
3 years with 2 one-year
renewals.
renewals if you so choose.
So we're not binding future boards to that contract.
Just for 3 years. And I believe that's what it was originally, a 3-year contract.
Motion to accept the Clearview contract as amended.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any new business? Or waiting to sign?
So, a few weeks ago, you had an appointment form from the zoning board of adjustment, a nomination form for Mr. Brown. And there was a question about attendance, and you appointed him for 1 year. It's since come to my attention that the board of selectmen, while you're the appointing authority, you can only appoint for the full term. So you can either appoint Mr. Brown for 3 years under the zoning board of adjustment as a full member, or you cannot appoint him, but you can't appoint for a partial term. And I did send Mr. Brown a letter to that,
Okay.
outlining that, so
Do we have his appointment form?
I do have an appointment for him.
Motion to, I'll make the motion to appoint Steve Brown to the zoning board for 3 years. Seeing no second, motion fails. We can thank Steve for his service to the town.
Do you want me to do a letter for your signatures?
Sure.
New business. Do you have any new business? So I don't think we have any new business that was scheduled.
Any correspondence, or CRFs, anything?
No, sir. You?
Great, public comment too? Tom?
I would think that we might be dealing with a technical issue with these windows in terms of the way they were spec'd. Maybe something's changed in the industry. It's hard to get that kind of thing, and the New Hampshire Preservation Alliance is not caught up with this fact or something. So I think it's worth calling and asking why not, because it may be a technical issue. It really has nothing to do with, unwilling to bid, or maybe even it's not even too much money. But, it's just a technical thing that needs, that LCHIP needs to know about it.
Okay. Yeah. Anybody else?
I have two things. One is, I need the selectmen to taking a look at the bridge down at our house. It's getting washed away some more, and the cement blocks are not protecting for safety issues. The embankments are falling apart due to the more rain that we've gotten. Somebody's gonna get hurt. I already know that one person has fallen in. There's kids playing on the cement wall. It's not feasible, the cement wall's not protecting, someone's gonna get hurt. I don't wanna see it blocked off because it's a pain in the butt, but I don't wanna see somebody getting killed either. So I wanted to make sure you were aware of it and somebody addressed it. And secondly, I have spoken to Vin on, at one point, I was wondering if there's a way we could have some kind of public meeting in town for the people of the town who have issues or want to hash out things that are going on in town. One in particularly, the code enforcer, which Tom brought up today. A lot of people in town are concerned about that, and we would like to have a place where we didn't have to be on a 3-minute agenda. And if that was possible, maybe having like a once-a-month public meeting where there's no agenda and people could come forth with problems they're having.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else?
I'm happy.
Good to hear that.
Oh, it's fun. I have one quick thing. I was just wondering when you guys meet again. When's your next meeting?
May 9th.
May 9th, the second and fourth Wednesday. Very much.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw something in. I wanna compliment the fire department, the ambulance. They were down this winter for my mother had 2 bad spells, and they came down and helped me out. And they set it up, I got life alert, and they set up a secret place to put my key in case I'm not there. And then I got a compliment, they're very cooperative and very helpful.
We'll pass that along.
There's something
Yeah.
I gotta say for that.
Of course.
Thank you, Ruben.
I'm all done.
Thank you. Town administrator's update?
So I have the financials and the latest minutes from the Greater Wakefield Resource Center. There's a copy for each of you. This is the March 16th meeting. And there's some building needs down there that they're want to talk to me about for budgeting. As you guys know, generally we're responsible for the outside, and the board takes care of the inside. So there's some tile in the kitchen and pantry that would probably be an inside thing. I did ping Victor Becker about when their May meeting is, and perhaps Arlene, the welfare director, and I attending, because there's been some conversations about the Meals on Wheels program as well. But I didn't hear back from him, and I think their meeting is the second week. Is it the second week?
Second Friday.
And I think Arlene's gonna be in Florida, but we'll figure that out and get with her. You had asked, Lino, I think you had asked me some questions that I was supposed to get answers to. One of them was what happens with their money at the end of the year, and I did ping Victor on that, but what happens is they don't really have an end of the year because they get the money from us after the first issue tax bill. So even though we budget $30,000, they don't get that until June or early July. So they appear to be running in the negative. So there's not really like December 31st, there's this much money and we put it in the bank, you know. So there's not really an answer to your question. Does that make sense? Maybe Tom is on the board of directors, he might be able to explain it a little better, because there's not really a drop dead date and here's the end of our budget and here's all this money. Like, it's not like they have money left over, you know, they have a budget, they live within their budget, they get the money from us, and then it's gone.
Correct. So just so you know, we get the $30,000 mid-year. So the first half of the year, we're taking all the monies that that we have that come in volunteer and come in by raising money and things like that, and by the state giving us the money for the meals, for the senior meals. And we get through mid-year until the money comes in from the town. So now, we're actually paying the person that is, Martha, that works down there for us. We're paying her through all those things, and we're losing money every single month until we get the town's money. And then we still lose money every month, but the town's money pays her salary for the rest of the year, and we still have half her salary in the till, as you would say, in the till for the part of the first half of the year. So first half of the year until we get your money again, type of thing. So I mean, last year was we pretty much broke even last year, because we are starting to get some more donations again. The economy's getting better, so people are answering our requests for donations. And we have, as a board, too, we have in the past, and we've been declined, by like the towns of Milton and Middleton and Brookfield, but we are reaching out to those towns again. We know they had budget constraints too over the last, 10 years, so we're reaching out to those towns again with data of who from their towns are, that we're helping support all the time, and requesting funds from those towns also.
Can you share those demographics with me again? I know I got it last year once, but I haven't gotten it. I don't need to know people's names. I would prefer actually not to know people's names. If you could just give me, I think what Susan Gaudet gave me last year was just like a count of how many people from each town.
Yeah, I think we just started breaking it down to per towns, or started doing a little bit of a, research on it. So I don't know, we haven't had the data forever, but
Well,
if you email Martha.
They gave me in January through August last year, 31.12% of the people were from Wakefield. Everybody up for the senior meals. Everybody else was from another town, and 7.98% were from Maine. So and nobody wants to stop feeding seniors. It's just that I think it's kind of eye-opening that it's surprising to me that Milton and Farmington and the towns that a lot of these people are coming from don't want to even make a small donation, when only 31% of them are actually from, and that includes Sanbornville, Union, Wakefield, I'm not.
Yeah, that's why we want the data too, to be able to go to those towns with hard data and see, but they're also gonna say to us, that our people from here go to their towns, which they do. They go there for bingo down at Farmington, and they have a meal, senior meal. So, we go to their towns also. So, but we think we have a little better product. We offer more and we help more, so we're a little, we get a better facility per se. So we are gonna reach out and see if we can start getting them to contribute again.
Well, they might be more receptive too, because they're donating to the food pantry now, based on the numbers that Mr. Knight gave.
Milton is, Milton.
I also think
Newfield's also.
Yeah. So, it's worth reaching out. If you have the hard numbers, they may.
Right.
So what I understand, they run in the negative.
Per month, like every month we lose money.
How can you do that? How do you pay if you don't
I'm
have any
guessing you
money?
must have non-lapsing funds from the previous year that you used to cover the first half?
No. Well, I guess they're called non-lapsing funds. Yeah, it's basically the money in our checkbook. Our money in our checkbook, if it's the end of the year, the money in the checkbook says $17,000, we know we have to make it through till mid-year, with that $17,000. And I'm not saying we run into negative every single month. There's some months that we don't get an insurance bill, or we don't get something. But if you average it all out, we're just about lose a little bit of money or break even every month. That $17,000 that's in there right now, I would, if I had to guess, I don't have the exact numbers, but that $17,000 at the end of last year that was in the account, which stays in the account, it don't move, we just, it keeps revolving. There was probably $25,000 in there.